bullshit or that's fucked up. It's because it doesn't actually involve any growth. It's progress, upward mobility with life. That is why it's bullshit, right? And you will often see family members click up in the name of bullshit for the sake of just saying you wrong because you did that to mama or grandma or dad or auntie. In all reality, right, the book we're reading is so necessary for everybody in their adult life to read because, like I always say, you will mourn more living people than you will dead. And the way that family is nowadays, we are not having family meetings. We are not passing down a lot of wealth and knowledge from one generation to the next, especially within our community. And it creates a space of overly independent behavior, lack of teamwork. It creates efforts put more into the bullshit than into the things that matter. And so instead of getting together and talking about how to set up a trust or how can we invest or what mistakes were made by the generation that had us so that we can now change certain things, we get together and we talk about who talked about who or who showed up wrong at the event or who didn't do X, Y, and Z or who got who fucked up, who bought this and then who bought the same thing afterwards and copied them. It truly is BS. And so what happens is within family groups, when this type of behavior has repeated itself so much and it becomes habitual, meaning small kids watch the older adults do it. The older adults watch the grandparents do it. By the time the smaller kids are now adults and the adults are now the grandparents and the grandparents are now dead, it is embedded in the way that we behave. It almost feels like this is just how our family is. And so what happens is a lot of the adults that are now the grandparents, they are in a space where nobody ever said nothing to them about the bullshit. And so when you start to wake up and you go to say something to them about the bullshit, you look like you're doing something wrong. You're the one that's out of line. You're out of pocket. And so when adults have been allowed and they have watched the parents that raised them be allowed to do fucked up shit, and because of their title, nobody say anything to them or the family conforms to their act out. Right? I'm going to tell y'all what I mean by conform to their act out. I got them. Some of y'all got them. Family members that, similar to what somebody explained, they know they're wrong, but they act so crazy when you try to talk to them about being wrong that nobody say anything to them. They be like, nah, y'all, I don't say nothing to her. You know how she is. She going to get the hooping and hollering and, and you see the family oftentimes, all right, okay, y'all just leave her alone. That's why we don't say nothing to him. And so there isn't any accountability. And this is why as individuals, we suck at accountability. Even on my page, right, I posted a video talking about parental alienation and, how we need to tell our children the truth. My general rhetoric that you're going to find on my page, right? And I'm calling it rhetoric because of the way that it makes people feel. But anyway, I seen in one of the comments, somebody said to somebody else, because they got under the post and they made a simple statement, we need to go back to valuing marriage. We need to go back to valuing getting to know a person, being married, setting up aligned goals before having kids with somebody. The person hopped under that comment and said, stop shaming the people that didn't get married because it's people that got married that ended up single mothers too. This was her comment, right? But telling somebody that moving forward, we need to start doing this has nothing to do with shaming you. But when you grow up where you've never been made aware of what accountability is and what it means to truly take it and what it means to be of service to the generation that's coming up under you, you're never going to want anybody to say anything that's the opposite of what you did. You just want to be able to use, and some of y'all may get offended by this, but your religion or your spirituality as a way to make it seem like somebody is judging you if they say what is truly correct for our generation or for the next generation to do better.
Love, I wanted to ask a question. Mm-hmm. Going back to what you were saying about the family member and how, like the way they act, how everyone kind of like expects this behavior from them. Mm-hmm. Does that go back to like a form of manipulation? Like they're manipulating the group by like distracting them from the issue?
Give me an example.
Maybe like they kind of know like whenever something is brought up about, like, let's say the mom, for example, she acts crazy because she doesn't want to be confronted with her behavior.
Listen, yes, it's manipulation. Also, oftentimes it's a learned behavior. And so part of why it's difficult to get them to be accountable for the behavior is because they don't see anything wrong with it. It's something oftentimes that has been nurtured into them because from young, they've watched the adults do it. The adults have watched somebody in the grandparents' bloodline do it. And so it becomes let me keep it real simple, right? What happens when a kid throws a tantrum and you give them what they want? Then they throw another tantrum and you give them what they want. And they throw another tantrum and you give them what they want. What happens?
They
do tantrums for everything.
Okay. And then
they gotta do to get
perfect. And then what is it when the kid is throwing a tantrum and they stopping to make sure that you see them throwing a tantrum?
At this point, they know what they're doing.
Okay, pause. Whose fault is that?
The parent.
But see, when adults do this, we don't believe that it's any fault of our parents. Because in our community, right? Because we don't believe we do nothing wrong. In our community, you're not allowed to say that your parents did anything wrong. You got to just take it to the chin, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, go forward. They did the best they could. Ain't nothing wrong with you. We put clothes on your back. You had a roof over your head. Shut the fuck up. But in all reality, I got these behaviors from somewhere. I watched the kid in my family do it, crying. And then stop crying and look at us to see if anybody paying attention to them crying. Because they used to crying at home and then getting what they want. And so now you fast forward, when they get grown, it may not be crying, but they will figure out, because it's survival, a different behavior that they are allowed to exhibit at their age, whether it's 21, 25, 30, that will make you turn in, pay attention to them, put focus on them, and then eventually conform. And I did a whole Zoom on manipulation. I broke this shit down in pieces as to how we do this to one another. In the Zoom, I talked about the guilt tripping, right? And often, like the book we're reading talks about, when it comes to family, you don't realize it is hardcore manipulation, especially when it's somebody like your parents. The whole, all right, I guess I have to figure it out on my own. I just thought they call, hey, I need $100 for my light bill. They gonna turn my lights off on the 7th. It's the 6th. I need to pay it. And then you tell them, I don't got it. Maybe because you really don't got it, or you got other plans for your money, or you're trying to set boundaries or whatever. And instead of accepting your answer and getting off the phone, they do the whole, well, all right. I hope I don't get it time. I have to figure something else out. They just holding the phone. Just saying random statements to try to do what?
Make you feel better.
Guilt you.
Guilt trip you. And the point of the guilt trip is to do what?
Get you to conform.
Yes. There is another form of manipulation that family does often where, and in the Zoom, a lot of y'all spoke up and was like, damn, I ain't think about this. But long story short, they give excessive amounts of information to overwhelm you so you don't have a moment to think when they ask you for some shit. A lot of times you don't see this coming. They call you, they talk, give out a whole bunch of it, and then in the midst of that, they slip in what they truly want, what they called you for. And they damn near catch you off guard to the point where you done committed to something that after you get off the phone, when you have a second to wind down and think, it's like, hell no, I ain't finna be able to do that. Now you calling back trying to take back your yes. And guess what? At that point, you look what?
Yeah, you look like a bad person.
You end up being a bad person. Mm-hmm. It's a manipulation tactic. I get on the phone, talk a mile a minute. I start off appealing to you, ask you some shit about what you got going on, go around the block, come back around, talk about up the tree, boom, hit your ass with a statement. You give me the answer. Then when you try to call me back like, hey, bro, earlier you said Saturday morning. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I ain't gonna be able to, man, see, you always reneging. Now you a renegger. Now you somebody that, now they finna call around, man, let me tell you about Candace. Man, she told me she was gonna do the shit, then called me back 10 minutes later and said she could. Now, watch this, because family will click the fuck up and ostracize you. A bitch will start a smear campaign. By the end of the day, 3, 4 cousins, your mama and your grandma and your uncle know that your ass is a renegger. You a renegger.
I'll tell you something my father did, love. When he was asking me for money at one point, he was like, asking for money. I'm like, I don't really got it, Dad. I don't got it like that, right? Said about 3-4 times in the conversation. Well, come on, you working 2-3 jobs.
Yep.
Come on now, you working on these jobs, getting this money. Come on, baby. I know da-da-da. I'm like, Dad, what you think I'm working these 3 jobs for? I ain't got it like that. Like, Then he's like, come on. He's like, let me call Kia right now. Let her know my daughter gonna send me some money so we can go ahead. I'm like, hey, yo, I really felt like he like you're trying to strong arm me into giving you this money. So yeah, I end up giving it to him.
You will fall. I'm gonna tell you something.
That's what I felt like. I got strong armed.
I'm gonna tell you something, right? Until you understand boundaries, meaning once I give my answer, if a person is still pressing on this particular subject, this is where I am now gonna exit the conversation. I ain't even finna stay on the phone past that, right? The other thing is, I'm a firm believer in reading your kids and you conforming to the story of the little red hen. The reason why is because it will help you with a lot of fucked up beliefs that we have. I could give a fuck about a title. Black folk will ride the title. Urban people will ride the title that they hold in your life to the ground, but not be living up to the title. I'm your mama, but the shit you doing is not very motherly. I'm your daddy, but the way you carry yourself is not very daddy-like. I'm your child, but you don't got no motherfucking respect. We family, but you don't behave like motherfucking family. So if anybody was ever a kid and you got read the story of the Little Red Hen, the concept is, bitch, if you didn't help put in the work, right? You not finna be round for harvest time. You ain't finna eat this motherfucking bread, bitch, when I was asking you or the door was open for you to help bake this motherfucker, plant the seeds, cut down the wheat, motherfucking make the dough, heat the oven, get the pan ready. You watched as I did all this shit. So when she say stuff like, I work 3 jobs and you got whatever you got going on and you watching me work 3 jobs, I know you watching because you able to repeat that shit to me. I'm a little red hen your ass every time. You not finna experience the fruits of my motherfucking labor when you can articulate that you see me laboring and then lift a fucking helping hand. And again, this is the belief without a person attached to it. So I don't care if you my mama. I don't care if you a stranger. The idea is if you are an able-bodied person, you got the opportunity, the time, the access to the information, the ability to help. There's this concept that if you ain't figured out what your purpose is or got some goals of your own, go be fucking useful to the people that you care about with them and their goals. At least do that until you figure out what the fuck you want to do with your life. But you got people that ain't doing none of that. They ain't working on shit they self and they ain't helping you. And whenever they need something, because you're working so hard and they're watching you work so hard, they can articulate the extent of your efforts in your work as a way to convince you to help them. Fuck you. Fuck you. Does everybody understand what I'm explaining?
Absolutely.
And this is where, again, you have to go back to just certain solid truths. No feelings involved. This is just the facts. If we talk about it without a family member title, hey, does it make sense to watch somebody go through several sessions of labor like the little red hen? Hey, who will help me plant the seed? Nobody helps. Hey, who will help me cut the wheat down? Nobody helps. Hey, who will help me take this wheat and make it into dough? Nobody helps. Hey, who will help me mold out the bread and put it on the pan to be able to put it in the oven? Nobody helps. Who will help me heat the oven to be able to bake the bread? Nobody helps. But as soon as the bread starts smelling good in the motherfucking oven and the smells start to travel through the house and down the street, people can see the bread is coming in. You want to come and help me eat it. Does that make sense? Take the titles off. Do it make sense? To anybody, it ain't gonna fucking make sense. So now, after we've established it don't make sense, let's add a title. What if the people that said no the whole time but want some of the bread is mama or cousin or brother or the man down the sidewalk or the lady at the corner store? It don't make a fucking difference at this point if you've already acknowledged that it's incorrect to behave that way. It's just like what I said earlier. When you have some core beliefs understood, it don't matter who the person is. If stealing is incorrect, the action itself, I don't give a fuck who it is that stole. We're going to stick on the accountability point until you admit that it's wrong. We ain't even got to rather I'm going to continue to fuck with you or if you had your reasons. If you can't in front of me as we establish that you stole, just acknowledge that it's wrong to steal. I can't fuck with you based on that. Because you can't even keep it real. Does everybody understand this?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
When it comes to family, this is why you have to educate yourself on what manipulation is, on what true boundaries look like, on what it looks like, on what it means to have healthy conversations, because you will always bend these things for a title. And y'all know what I'm talking about.
Hey, love.
Mm-hmm.
I used to find myself where I would like reach out to a family member or a friend, like if I hadn't heard from them in a while. And I started noticing, like, every time I may say, hey, y'all, how you doing? Whatever, this and that. Then, like, a day or two, I get a text message like,
asking for
hey, baby, like, can you,
asking for something?
I'm messed up. Like, can I just loan or borrow $40 from you or $20? I'll get it back to you on Thursday. So I got to a point where I was like, I can't even say, hey, how you doing? And they gon' turn around and ask me for some money. And they do it. Family, friends, any of them. They always turn around and ask me. I had like 4 people in 1 week asking me for money.
Let me tell y'all something. People be in need. People be in need. People need help. They need resources. They need money. They need all kinds of stuff, right? And the idea is that's just a part of life. It ain't even that the people money hungry. It be a part. People do. The money they be saying they need, they do be needing it. They don't be lying. Bills do be billing. Life do be lifing. The problem is the work ethic and the application of self, the energy, putting your words and your focus in the right areas don't be there. They be needing that too, but it just don't be there. And so the idea is as much as a person needs, so is their opportunity to well exceed that. I will say it again. As much as a person needs, there is opportunity that well exceeds what they need. And this is truly the meaning behind he won't put more on you than you can bear. Because the idea is what you can bear is based on the efforts you're willing to fucking apply. The information you're willing to accept. The changes that you're willing to make. How much you're willing to experience. So there's this concept where in life, you will truly have more when you are willing to experience what comes along with having more. And so here is some conflicting beliefs for your ass. There are people that they want more money. They want more freedom with their time. They want more healthy relationships, but they are not willing to experience the change that is required in order for them to have that. I would like to have more money, but there are certain things about my behavior with money that I'm not willing to confront. I would like to be around better quality people. I would like to be in a healthier relationship. But there are certain things about the unhealthy ways that I behave and my character that I'm not willing to confront or discuss or acknowledge that it needs to be changed. And so because of that, that is why I'm not going to get these other things. It ain't because I don't deserve it. Remember I told y'all when I talked about the lies we tell ourselves, it starts with a foundation, a standard in which you believe that you deserve. As soon as you believe that, your behavior will then align with you having. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes.
It goes on in the book. It says, a moment of insight. It says, there is no perfect way to sever ties. It says, what matters is that you sever them if you need to. Does everybody understand that? Because oftentimes we think we have to go make some sort of statement to the other person when we have decided this is not good for me. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
So on page 11, it talks about defining traits of toxic people. It says to understand toxic family members more fully, it is important to examine the defining traits that qualify a person as toxic. And so then it goes on to explain, right, some of these traits. It says it's likely several of the following traits described each individual, right? It says, and this is how you know that this person is toxic, is uncomfortable unless they're the center of attention, displays rapidly shifting emotions, acts very dramatically, is overly concerned with physical appearance, constantly seeks reassurance or approval, is excessively sensitive to criticism or disapproval, has a low tolerance for frustration, makes rash decisions, has difficulty maintaining relationships, often seeming fake or shallow, threatens or attempts suicide to get attention, exaggerates achievements and talents, believes they are superior, monopolizes conversations, expects special favors and unquestioning compliance with expectations, takes advantage of others, is jealous and belittling of others, behaves in an arrogant or haughty manner, demands special treatment, has difficulty regulating emotions and behavior, is unable to cope with stress, adapt to change, or both, is sarcastic and bitter, avoids adult responsibilities by acting passive and helpless. We just talked about this. Intensely fears abandonment, has a pessimistic or negative life view, has difficulty being alone, shows disregard for right and wrong. I just talked about that. Persistently lies or deceives to exploit others, is callous, cynical, and disrespectful of others. And I'm going to tell y'all something. There are a lot of women in our community that are like that last one. A lot of women. And you could see it the way that we carry on. Uses charm or wit to manipulate others for personal gain or personal pleasure. Is extremely opinionated. Has reoccurring problems with the law, including criminal behavior. Repeatedly violates the rights of others through intimidation and dishonesty. Lacks empathy for others or remorse for harming others. Fails to consider the negative consequences of behaviors or to learn from them. How many of y'all did those statements stick out to, or did somebody come to mind? Or hell, you thought about how you used to be?